want to progress, we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Yes, come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build, not break. Let us enhance, let us transform this place we call home. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour, and specifically this segment where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for reasoning. I want to start off by saying there is this idea that because you are in a leadership position, and I'm looking at the unions, you can just get a free ride to say whatever you want to say, even if you know it is false. Because you hear on the news that the 5 workers from Kariakou who are on contract, they were not permanent workers. What should have happened when they were dismissed, because many of them, they were involved in serious political activities. When they were dismissed, they should have been paid their holiday pay, right? The holiday pay, and given 1 month pay. That is how the contract is designed. So they were not given that. As a result, the matter was brought to the Labor Commissioner and the Minister of Labor, and they ruled in their favor. But it took a lot of courage for the government to do what they did, meaning to pay, to rule in their favor and pay. Because under the NNP, that was not the case. These people had to go to court and fight this matter in court, and many a times it would take years. But this government, the NDC administration, decided they will pay. If they're found in the wrong, they will pay, which is commendable. NNP pundits are giving you this impression that this matter was brought to court. This matter was not brought to court. In fact, only one matter with the employee from, I think, Legal Affairs. That's the only matter that was brought to court. I think she had some senior position in there, and she was found to be in the right. Again, all these matters are, matters that was brought to labor and so on, but this particular one was brought to court. The one regarding the workers from the Ministry of Infrastructure, I think, they too, I think Chester Humphrey represented them at the labor level. This matter was not brought to court, So don't make you believe that these matters were brought to court and they won some case in court. No. The matters were brought before the Ministry of Labor. You see, it's not customary. You hear that a ruling of that nature come from the Ministry of Labor, so quickly. Normally, it will take years and years and years and years. But this government is serious about remedying, resolving these matters. So they were not brought to court. Only one matter was brought to court. But I'm making this point because, excuse me, There is this particular union woman who's out there making certain claims about the amount of money that the government spent to compensate these workers. And I was happy when the Honorable Claudette Joseph cleared the thing up in Labor Day. She didn't wait somewhere else to do it. She did it right there and then. She said, what you're saying is false. It is not true. So MTV brought that piece, and I was very moved by it, because that is what you want. You want somebody who can stand up to these people and say, hey, what you're saying is not true.
The annual May Day celebrations at Victoria Centre Mark on Thursday were marked by more than solidarity and celebration, as heated debate arose over claims of political victimization and the financial compensation of affected workers. Union officials during the feature presentations called attention to alleged injustices faced by workers, particularly following the 2022 transition of power to the ruling National Democratic Congress (NDC). Among the cases raised were the so-called Kariku five women reportedly dismissed from government positions, and 5 other women from the Ministry of Infrastructure in Pearl, St. Andrew, also said to have been terminated under similar circumstances. Daisy Hazard, delivering her first May Day address as president of the Grenada Public Workers Union, PWU, emphasized the importance of workers' rights and job protection. Applauding the efforts of the Ministry of Labour in securing justice for the Kariku 5, Hazard claimed that the administration paid out close to $1 million in compensation to the 5 and others linked to alleged political victimization, a situation that could have been avoided. She warned that the union would remain vigilant against such practices.
We also saw that so many of our servicemen and women who were unfairly dismissed received their benefits, and government paid foolish money. But Sister Claudette, we thank you. We thank you for having the temerity and the courage that the Ministry of Labour and the Ministry of Legal Affairs did the correct thing and paid out close to $1 million in termination benefits to workers who were unfairly dismissed.
However, Labour Minister Claudette Joseph firmly denied the claim of the alleged payout. In her speech, she stated that the actual amount paid was substantially less than what the union president reported.
Brothers and sisters, my administration paid out $168,000 in termination benefits to workers who were dismissed in Kariku and Pidi Martinique, who you commonly call the Kariku 5, and $88,000 to former workers of the Ministry of Works. A total of $256,000, just over $250,000, not millions as falsely reported by the media and respectfully, irresponsibly repeated here today by the President of the Public Workers Union.
Following the rally, former Public Workers Union President Brian Grimes spoke to our news team. He celebrated the Kariku 5's legal success, a campaign he actively supported during his leadership, and also applauded the Ministry of Labour.
The Kariku 5 issue was near and dear to me. I got a lot of heat as the president of the union at the time in bringing forward this issue. In fact, even internally, from my own members. But I was committed and convicted that this was the right thing to do based on employment law and representing those 5 vulnerable workers, right? And I am so happy to see what has transpired in terms of justice being served to the best of what could have been done. But I also want to take the opportunity to commend the Ministry of Labour, Sparkle Grenade Courtney as a Labour Commissioner, and yes, the Minister of Labour, Claudette Joseph, because it's not an easy thing to say, okay, I think we made a misstep here.
Prior to these cases, government was reportedly ordered to pay thousands to a former legal officer who was dismissed in 2022.
Right. So I told you about that one with the Ministry of Legal Affairs that was brought to court, and that particular worker was awarded a certain amount of money, but not that much as this individual, I think is the Public Workers Union president, is saying. But I am happy that the Honorable Claudette Joseph cleared the thing up, because the media is running with this misinformation. And then you heard Daisy Hazard repeating this falsehood on a platform on Labor Day. So the Honorable Claudette Joseph did a fantastic job in clearing that up. But folks, during the NNP time, that was not the case in terms of payment, No. We saw a lot of public officers taking the NNP administration to court. They took them to court and they won millions of dollars in compensation. And many of them got early retirement. Right? Though young, but they got early retirement. So under the NNP, victimization was the order of the day. And I can give you a list of public officers appointed by the Public Service Commission who were either transferred without a reason to a lower grade or scale, or who were actually sent home for no reason. And they took the government of Grenada to court, the NNP administration, and they won millions of dollars. But some of them had to wait for years and years to get the money that they won, that the court awarded to them. And that is why Brian Grimes, we don't agree on many things, but that is why he openly thanked the Honorable Claudette Joseph and the Labor Commissioner, and particularly Claudette Joseph, the government of Grenada by extension, because they paid. They did not wait and drag this, and they paid. That is what is important here. So I'm glad that the Honorable Claudette Joseph cleared the thing up to say, hey, what you say in Daisy Hazard is not correct. The so-called Carriacou 5, all they got was $168,000 because they were supposed to get the advance, all the holidays and all these different things, because it's a contract. Many of them, they were on a contract or some open letter. They were not public officers as appointed and confirmed by the Public Service Commission. That's totally different. All right? So again, just saying, it is important that you understand that. And then those who were represented by Chester Humphrey, there before the Labor Commissioner, they only received $88,000. All right, so not much money in the scheme of things, not much money. But you have the media, you have some of these people going out there and spreading misinformation, in particular, those NNP pundits and surrogates. But all you have to do is to remind them that under the NNP, and the union leaders should be reminded about that too, about the amount of public officers who were wrongfully dismissed or transferred or whatever, and they took the NNP administration to court and they won. They won significant sums of money. But some of them had to stay years and years before they get anything that they're supposed to have received years and years ago. The NDC came and even had to pay some of them when they were wrongfully dismissed by the NNP. So the NNP should be the last to talk about workers being dismissed. All you need to do is to just look at Jimmer Bain Thomas, for example. Jimmer Bain Thomas won, I remember doing a program on that, just looking at Jemma Bean Thomas, right? And her situation. And she had to wait years and years and years. And there were other public officers. You have Richard Duncan, for example. You have a number of others. Big Tick, who recently passed away, right? I mean, it's a whole list of them that the NNP dismissed, removed, transferred here, there, and everywhere. And they won the government in court, not before the Labor Commissioner or the Minister of Labor. In court, they had to fight it because the NNP, at the time, they had a Labor Commissioner, they had a Minister of Labor. They were not interested. They were not interested in resolving anything, in awarding workers what is supposed to be awarded. So it's a different situation. But I'm happy that the Honorable Claudette Joseph did the right thing. And she cleared that thing up, right? Maybe I could, let me just quickly Google or search for the amount that Jemma Bean Thomas was awarded on the NNP.
So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Right. So Jemma Bean Thomas, she was awarded $85,000 one way and $675,000 in another way, right? That is what she was awarded. So when you hear those folks talking about victimization, when you hear them talking about, all kinds of stuff, sometimes you just have to laugh, right? Sometimes you have to laugh because all you need to do is to go back and check the records, and you would realize the amount of money that the NNP had to pay to public officers who were wrongfully dismissed or transferred. So I'm not saying that it's right for a person to be dismissed or transferred. I'm not saying that, right? Because you want workers to remain on the job, but there are some workers who will be playing politics. And we saw that with some of the recent workers who were dismissed and they were on contract, but they were front and center in the politics, which shouldn't happen. You have a right to your political affiliation, but you should never display it like this, because then a person coming to you would not feel comfortable if they are a part of another party. Because you're a public officer, you're there to serve the public, no matter who, NNP, NDC, PLM, GLP. But anyways, I am saying that Jemma Bean Thomas, for example, during the NNP time, she was awarded $675,000. That's close to $750,000. And then she was awarded, I think it's $85,000 one way. So it's, and that's just one example, right? That's just one example. You have a lot of other examples. Richard Duncan, Julia Lawrence, and a whole pile of other people who took the government to court, who took the NNP administration to court. And they won in the court, not going just before a labor commissioner or the minister of labor. No, no, no. Nope. It's different. This time around, the NDC, they are not waiting for a matter to be dragged before court. They would resolve it at the labor commissioner level or at the minister of labor level. You get that sorted out because the government is not against workers, right? Things do happen and you have to remedy it. You have to fix it as you go. But I love the fact that the Honorable Claudia Joseph cleared this thing up and dealt with it right there and then at Labor Day. She put the facts on the table. So while Daisy Hazard was making all kind of false statement there, she cleared that up. This is the figure. It's just a little above 200 and something $1,000, and she made that very clear. I love that. All right. But the workers know that this government has done more for them than any other government in this country in terms of workers getting more. And I said on a previous program, the biggest issue that the workers had during the NNP time was the payment of pension and gratuity and restoring pension, the restoration of pension. So every month, you as a pensioner, as a retiree, look forward to getting your pension, your money. That is what the NDC did. The NDC restored the monthly pension or the pension that a person who worked with government supposed to get every month until they die. Under the NNP, that was not the case. The NNP was not paying that. They never gave them the gratuity. They never gave them the pension. NDC came and they paid the pension. $75.1 million. They didn't have to go on the streets and march and protest for it like they were doing under the NNP. Then the 13% salary increase with all the fringe benefits and all the benefits. They didn't have to go on the streets and march and protest for that. No, the NDC gave them that and they were very happy. The minimum wage adjustment, giving them more on their salaries. The simple workers, the NDC gave them that. All right, the security officers, the cleaners, the cooks, the people, the clocks, the laborer, the bus conductor, the simple workers. They got an increase on their salaries. Then you had thousands of unestablished workers in the system working and retiring back into poverty with no pension, nothing to fall back on. The NDC put in place a pension scheme for them. So when they retire, they have a pension to collect. The NDC also regularized a number of workers, making them permanent in their positions. And then you have that process of regularization ongoing, making sure that the workers have a document stating that they're permanent in this position. This is big. It gives them job security. Then you saw the nurses getting $6,000 more annually on their salary. The doctors, $12,000 more annually on their salary. Then you saw nurses or workers within the health sector receiving more uniform allowance, more cash. I think it's about $1,200 now. Uniform allowance, which is great, which is good. We saw the payment of the docked salaries. The NNP went into the salaries of public officers and docked their salaries, take their money because they went out in the streets and protested and demonstrated. So that again is evidence that the government cares about workers, the TAMCC workers, the outstanding money, the money that they were owed. Because remember, they were out there in the hot sun protesting every day, fighting for that money. NDC paid it, gave them $20-something million, right? Then we saw the increase in the stipend for Imani trainees, moving from $700 to $1,200. The same Imani trainees, they are getting more money as stipend. The Empower program, the trainees there, they're getting more as stipend and grant. We saw the pay and grade for the police officers. You see, this thing is not about noise, and being boisterous, like Daisy Hazard. The facts are there to show, to prove that the NDC cares about workers. And it's not just talk. It's not just talk. Police officers were fighting for that pay and grade for decades. NDC came and resolved that. A constable getting now $700 and something more on their salary, An ordinary constable, one without stripe, right? So you have the constable, then you have the corporal, and you have the sergeants, and you go up. It's just different. Then we see the fixing of police stations and medical stations and the ministerial complex. And that's the work environment, as the workplace. See, the ministerial complex, they had to fix the AC unit and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get that fixed. Change the carpets, put tiles and all different things at the ministerial complex. Some ministries, you have to relocate them, like the Ministry of Finance, because mold growing on the walls and so on in those ministries, old building never maintained. Now the NDC is visiting the health centers and clinics and so on to see what they can do to fix it, to help the workers to have a better, work environment or place of work. So the NDC cares. I was happy to see our beloved Prime Minister, the Minister of Infrastructure, and the Honorable Andy Williams, the Minister of MIT, and the Minister of Health, that's Philip Tellisford. They're visiting the different clinics to see what can be done, health centers, to see what can be done to fix it, because the NNP never maintained anything.
We are at the Sutters Medical, I will use the word complex because we've got the environmental health, we've got the main medical station, we've got the nurses' quarters, and what used to be the maternity ward. This is the one of the stops that we are making today at visiting one of the medical stations, or some of the medical stations in St. Andrew and St. Patrick and St. David. The intention is to make sure that we can quickly ramp up repair, renovation and improvement work on these clinics that we're visiting. We came ourselves to see the condition that the nurses, our citizens, the patients, doctors are working in. The aim is to make sure that under the various projects that we have, we can galvanize action quickly to start the renovation and improvement of these various sites.
Myself, Prime Minister, Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, and members of the senior management team at the Ministry of Health, just visiting various health centers and medical stations around the country. We have 36 such centers around the country, and we basically want to get a first-hand understanding of what is laid up for us in terms of the work to be done. This is one of the steps taken alongside a larger agenda of transforming healthcare in Grenada, and in particular looking at how we can strengthen primary healthcare, because it is necessary for us to ensure that the centers around the country are fit for use. What we've recognized based on the centers that we visited this morning, some are closed, some have been abandoned, and because of years of depreciation without repairs, without renovations. And so we have, in some cases, to do complete demolition and rebuild. Most of the centers need very, very significant repairs, renovations, as the case may be.
Today as MIT, we are here with the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Health. And the aim today is to really work along with the two ministries to see how we can refurbish our medical centers, bring them up to speed and up to mark so that we can benefit or serve the people of our communities in a better manner.
My name is Kevin Blash and I'm the Chief Technical Officer with the Ministry of Infrastructure. We're here today making several visits with the Ministry of Health to be able to support them in improving the quality of primary healthcare facilities here in Grenada. Today is just a day for preliminary assessments, and we will do some more detailed assessments in the coming weeks just to be able to undertake the necessary works to upgrade all of the facilities we have.
And folks, all you need to do is to just look at the condition of those buildings. Just look at the condition. The NDC is trying its best to renovate, to upgrade, to fix these buildings, because remember, it is the workplace of nurses, doctors, and then you have patients coming there for care. So the government has a lot of work to do, because the NNP was not maintaining any of these buildings. They never had a maintenance crew to fix these things and maintain it and keep it going. That is why government has to come now and spend a lot of money to renovate and to fix it, and then in some instances to relocate the workers of some of those ministries, because the NNP, they were never maintaining nothing or fixing anything or refurbishing anything or renovating anything, nothing like that. They just left those things to run down. These things did not happen in 2 years or 3 years. They were there for donkey years. And the government now has to find millions and millions of dollars to fix these facilities so that the people can feel more comfortable working there as the workers, and patients or people visiting can feel more comfortable there. So it's a lot of work. And then you hear the NNP talking about they want to come back to rescue. Rescue what? What have you done over the many years to make the condition better for the workers? Some people only see money coming into your account or your salary, getting more money. But if you work in as a nurse or a doctor, you want to go in an environment that is conducive, that is healthy. Because if there is mold and the place is just not suited, then it will make you sick as the worker. So the government is trying, and I hope the unions are recognizing that, observing that, because that's the duty of government. Because you have employees, you're an employer, to make the workspace more conducive and, what it's supposed to be for the workers. So again, I'm really happy to see that the government is serious about that, and they're working very hard where that is concerned. In River-Sally, today, they're starting this mission in River-Sally. All right? I told you about it. So there's a dental mission, Smiles GCP dental mission. They will be at River-Sally Community Center from today. Clinic days Monday to Thursday. So that's May the 5th to May the 8th, starting at 8 a.m. and going all the way up to 5 p.m. Services, fillings, extractions, cleanings, blood pressure and sugar checks. They're doing massage. There's a therapist attached to the whole thing now. So again, if you live in River-Sally and surrounding areas, take advantage of that. They starting today. All right? Well, they have started. They started already from 8 this morning. All right? So Dr. Hamlet and our team and the others at the Ministry of Health with this mission, they are in River-Sally. Wish them all the best. So please, folks, go there and take advantage of that. I want to say to you that this program is funded by people just like you, here in Grenada and in the diaspora. Because this program is different from the other programs where you have ads, where you have, promo. This program doesn't have that. And whoever pays the piper calls the tune. And we always try our best not to have ads and so on during this program. Because, once a person pays, then they can tell you what to do, what to say. That's just the reality. So I depend on you, the listeners and the viewers, to give every month to pay the bills. Every month we require between $8,000 to $9,000 to just pay the bills to keep things going. I do not get a salary from doing this program. I volunteer my time and effort. So what I normally do, coming close to month end or month end, I would send the usual people who give to the program a message, a WhatsApp message saying, hey, thank you for your continued support. Can I add you to this month's pledge again? Some will say yay, some will say no, right? Or yay or nay. Some will say yes or no. Some will say, well, skip me this month, next month. Some will say, well, I can't give you 50, I'll give you 30. Can't give you 100, I'll give you 50. It depends. But generally speaking, what I'll do, I'll add that up to, because I already know what is required every month to meet the bills, because I know what the bill for the electricity in Grand Etang is. It's 750, I think 50 cents, 750 cents, I think, for the bill in Grand Etang to pay the bills there, right? So I know that, 708 cents in Grand Etang. So I know what the bill is, and I know when it's due. I also know what the internet bill in Grand Etang is, right? It's $500. I also know what the rent for Grand Etang is. It's $500. And I can tell you about the electricity here, the internet here. I can tell you about everything, the rent, the cost online to just keep the thing going. I know exactly what the bill is. So I know what the cost at the end of the month looks like. So we are still in need, after receiving the text and the message from the usual givers, we are still in need of $5,850. All right? We are still in need of that. So I really wanted this morning to just do a pledge program, but I had to talk about, the benefits that the government is giving to the workers, and that the NDC administration cares about workers, and look at the work that the Honorable Carter Joseph is doing, right? Which is really, really good. She has been out there in the media in recent times quite frequently doing a lot of good things, and I love that. So I had to do that up front. We are 10 minutes onto the hour before we wrap up the program, right? We can go beyond that somewhat, but I want to do the pledge, start the pledge this morning in terms of you who are listening and viewing. You can actually give towards this program to keep the morning program and the night program going. We are still in need of $5,850. And the little that you give will go a long way. If you could afford to give to keep the program going, please do so. All right? You can call me on my number, and everybody knows my number. 1473-415-4817. Right? And maybe I could call Kim the King for a little extension in terms of time. I have not done that in a long time. All right? In terms of a little extension. So maybe I can ask him for a little extension this morning so we can do the pledge program. So if you want to pledge, you can. You know my WhatsApp number. You know my cell number. There are two numbers. You can reach me on WhatsApp. Hey, Kim, what's it, General? Everything good? Yeah, give me a little extension this morning. Give me a little 15 minutes or so. Oh, beautiful. Nice. Great. Yes. So my good pal, Kim the King, he already gave me an extension. It's a smart guy who understands. All right. So he already did that. Okay. He listens to the program just as I listen to his programs and so on. So again, if you out there, if you're here in Grenada, Carriacou, PT Martinique, in the diaspora, and you want to give financially to the program to keep it going so we can meet the bills, you can do so. You can WhatsApp me on the usual number, 1-473-415-4817 as the number scrolling under the program there. Or you can WhatsApp me on another number, 403-1019, if you want to give to the program. If you want the program to continue, you need to pay the bills. A lot of people who listen, a lot of people who view the program, a lot of people, follow the program, but not a lot of people give financially to the program. Some people who give. So if you're out there and you want to, you can just WhatsApp me. I can provide you with the Zelle information so you can Zelle the money to these numbers, right? And I provided the Zelle number already, right? So I can provide that number again for you. You can Zelle to that number. And, it's easy if you're in United States of America. You can just Zelle, and it's easy that way, all right? So you can Zelle to this number. Let me just get the number for you for the program, all right? So you can just Zelle to this number. Zelle to 1718, right? 504436, right? So you can just Zelle to this number and I will get it, all right? So you let me know, hey Kem, I Zelle this amount to this number and we can take it from there, all right? So if you're out there and you following the program and you want to give to the program, you can. Because you see, this program is funded by people just like you. All right? To keep this program going, it requires cash. It requires money to keep it going. So if we don't get through this morning, then I'll continue tonight until we get through, because we need to get this out of the way. So if you're out there and you want to give to the program, there are people who usually give. They've committed, some of them $50, some $150, some $10, some $100, some, but it's not enough to cover the bills. So I'm doing the pledge program at this point. We have 7 minutes plus about 10 or 15 minutes. So let's say roughly about 20 minutes remaining this morning. So if you're there, you can call me directly on the number. You can WhatsApp me directly, but we have to get over this bridge, all right? Because we need to pay the bills. We need to keep the bills paid. So there are two numbers. You can call me on 1473. That's our code. And the phone number, my phone number, is 415-4817 or 403-1019. So these are the two numbers you can reach me on. You can WhatsApp me on those two numbers too. But of course, you have to add the code 1473, then the number 415-4817. So we're still in need of $5,850. We're still in need of that to pay the bills, to meet the commitments for this month. All right, meaning the month that gone, month end gone. So if you're out there and you want to pledge, you can. I'll let you know where we are at, right? I'll let you know where we are at. So someone just pledged 100 US. Someone just pledged 100 US, right? To start with, 100 US. So that's 200 and I think it's $265, $270. All right, so someone just pledged 100 US. All right, so it's important to get over this hurdle. There are a number of people who commit to a certain amount of money, which is good, which is great. $50, $100, $150, $200, so I already note that for those who I sent messages and they say yes. But there are those who said, well, skip me this month, next month. All right, so that's just giving you a little update there. So again, we need to get over this hurdle to make sure that the pledge is done. So if you're out there and you're listening to me, you can pledge. So I'm here until 10 minutes past 9. And then if we don't reach the amount, the next program tonight, I will continue from there. So if you're there and you're listening, you can do so. So let me just play a little piece of our music.
Now the election bacchanal die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget.
Yes, so another good friend just pledged 50 US, right? So a good friend just pledged 50 US. All right, so that's another good friend who just pledged 50 US. All right, good. So a good friend pledged 100 US, and then another good friend pledged 50 US. So we started the process. So if you're out there and you're listening, following, yes. So thank you very much. Thanks, my dear. Thanks. Yes, I know. Nice. All right. So it's a regular person, but so that's two persons pledging their financial support for this month. All right. So again, it's it's 100 US and 150. So that's about $405 already. Right. So again, if you out there, the program is funded by people just like you. Right. Another good friend saying, "Hey Cam, I will Zelle 150 US on Thursday, please God. Blessed day and much love to you and your family." So another good friend here will pledged 150, right? So that's another 150 US, that's 400. 405. All right, that's $405. So that's so far we have $810 pledged. All right, 810. Another good friend just pledged $100. All right, so another good friend who I know who just pledged 100 EC. Right, 100 EC. Nice. So that's another 100 EC. All right. So again, the program it's funded by people just like you, and the little that you give will help to cover the bills. All right, because there are people who regularly give. Sometimes it's a bit tough this month. They might skip another month, but that's what it is. All right. So far, we have gotten $910 pledged so far in EC. 910. So we need $5,850. So we have a good 10 minutes again remaining in the program. I didn't want to do the full hour of pledge. I wanted to discuss what I discussed earlier and then go into the pledge. So if we do not get it this morning, then we have to go into the night to get it. So if you're listening to me, it's a pledge program. Just saying again, this program is funded by people just like you. The reason why we don't do ads and so on during the program is because whoever pays the piper calls the tune. I could do ads, right? And then every 5 minutes you have some ad playing or some kind of promo, and it kills the program. And then those people who put ads, they could say, "Okay, I don't want you to talk about that. I don't want you to talk about that. I don't want you to discuss that. I don't want you to talk about the NDC. I don't want you to talk about this. You understand the point? Or promote the NDC or promote the government." And so that's the reason why I depend on you, the listeners, the viewers, to give towards this and keep the program going. So if you're there and you're listening, you're following, and you can give. If you cannot give, just don't give. But if you could afford to give to the program to keep the program going, to keep it on air, so we could meet the bills and meet the commitments and keep things going. All right? So all you need to do is to call me or WhatsApp me. Everybody knows my number by now. 1473. That's our code. Then 415-4817. And then you have the other number, 403-1019. It's not a number that I use very often, right? But 403-1019. 1019. So these are the numbers that you can call. All right. So if we do not get that sorted this morning, then we would have to continue tonight. So far, we have received pledges or commitment of $910. That's where we are at this point. So we far away from the target of $5,850.
Fights and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh,
Yes. So again, it's a pledge program, right? 10 minutes. We have about 8 minutes left. So if we do not complete that process, I'll just continue tonight with it. And even during the day, if anyone messages me or indicates the willingness to give, I will just add it to what we have so far. So far, what we have is $910. That is where we are at so far. We need to reach $5,850. All right, that's what we need. We need that to complete the pledge. So if you're listening to me, you're following me, and you want to give, you can Zelle. So I give you the Zelle number there. That's the Zelle number on the screen. You can Zelle to that number, 1718-450-4436. So you can Zelle to that number and I'll get the money. I will get it. All right. So you can Zelle to that number. If you're in the United States, that's the easiest format to donate. It's the easiest format to donate. And you just indicate to me, hey, Kem, well, I Zelle this, I Zelle that to you, and I'll follow up and I'll get it. All right. But when you let me know, then I add it to the amount that we have, that we're looking for. So when we reach the amount, we stop. All right. So even during the day, if anyone reach out to me and say, hey, Kem, I pledge this, I pledge that, I commit this, then I'll add it to the amount. And then I'll let you know, because tonight, definitely we will have to continue the pledge unless, I get it during the day. And I try my best to get this out of the way, because there are so many things to talk about. So if we can get it sorted out tonight, then I will have to continue tomorrow morning and until we get it, because the pledge aspect of the program is important, right? To keep the bills going. Hello?
Hi, good morning, Kem.
How are you doing?
Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because
Right, so that's a good friend there. Just told me, well, she said to me earlier to just send her the Zelle information. All right, so that's she committed 70 US, 70 US. All right, so that's about $200 dollars. I think it's about 200. No, 187. Right, so 187. So let's say 190. So that's about 190. All right, that's about 190. So she committed that amount to, right, so that's about 190. So we are at $1,000. So we can safely say that we are about $1,000 in pledge so far. So we still need $4,850. All right, so we are about $1,000 in pledge. So we still need $4,850. All right, so we have to continue. So I'm going to wrap up the program in a while, but we have to continue with the pledge program tonight. But if during the day anybody reached out to me and say, hey, I want to pledge this, I want to pledge that, then what I would do, I would add it to the amount. So right now we are at $1,000, 1,000 EC. That's what we are at. That's where we are at. But we need 4,850 more because we needed $5,850. All right. So, folks, I want to express my appreciation to all those who called and pledged. But we have to continue with the pledge program tonight. All right. We have to do that tonight. So I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day, because this bridge we must cross every month. We need to cross that bridge. So I want to wish you all the best, but we have to continue with that tonight. Take good care. Bye for now, and have a wonderful